What's up, everybody? It is, of course, your leader and probably the most admired person among you all, Cam Hand the Fantasy Man, coming at you with our Week 9 fantasy recap. Not as, in my opinion, as interesting as a couple of the last ones, but get through it. Should be a shorter video, hopefully. Let's just cruise through. Bobby, Alec, worst matchup, lame matchup with lame people. Not much more to say there. Best matchup, Will versus Sam. It came down to Monday Night Football. Big time ramifications in terms of placement or standings. I was watching it Monday night, as I'm sure Will wasn't watching, and Sam definitely wasn't watching. But we were bowling. I was watching every second. I was showing everybody. I was like, oh my gosh, look how close this is. Look how close this is. Came down to like the last minute. It was a super exciting matchup. Um, so yeah, that was great. Worst injury luck. I thought about Greg. Um, I think Will or somebody lost Goddard. But I'm just going to stick with Logan. Logan had a KJ Osborne injury who was playing really well. Apparently, he was like unresponsive for a little bit. Also, one of his bright spots on his team, Josh Palmer, got put on IR. Just more bad injury luck for Logan. We're going to go most unlucky Sam. He had the most points in a loss. It was he had lost by like 4 points. Also, he played against a 30-point game from Will's defense, which is always a huge bummer. So yeah, that's what we got there. Ashton, luckiest. I mean, Ash has been getting really unlucky, so I think he deserves this. Finally, a lucky win. 109 and a win. Greg had some injuries, so Ash lucked out this week for the first time, maybe. Dumbest move. I'm gonna go with Doug with not playing Dotson. Dotson's been playing pretty well lately, and I thought that was kind of dumb. Someone called him out for it. It wasn't, I get it. It's, you're splitting hairs sometimes. It wasn't like the dumbest thing ever, but there's not really a ton of dumb moves anymore, or at least this week. So I'm just gonna give it to Doug. Smartest move, again, not a ton of smart moves. I thought about giving Dylan it for the CJ Stroud pick up and play, but he picked him up a couple weeks ago. And whatever. I'm going with me. I picked up, played Sam Howell, which was ended up being a good decision. My defense pickup was great. That popped off, and then I feel like I need some credit for the Taysom Hill pickup and all the playing I've been doing of Taysom Hill. It's worked out. Again, it's not like the smartest thing ever, but I think I had a few good little things I did this week that paid off. Best free agent move is Alec for Pop Douglas. I believe his real name's Demarcio Douglas or something, but I know his nickname's Pop Douglas, and it sounds pretty cool. And I think he's going to be really good. Like to the end of the year, I think he's going to be good. I think it was a good pickup. He was good this week, good last week. With Bourne out, I think he's the guy. We're gonna go stock falling with Doug. Um, I mean, two losses in a row, sub 100 this week. He might have been sub 100 last week. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me, but bad performance this week. Two losses in a row. I put this little number down here to show that to show where he went in my rankings. We'll get to my rankings a little bit later, but he was number 5. He dropped to number 10 after this week. Next up is Stock Rising Hunter. 2 wins in a row, 150 this week, technically 149. He's in third place, looking good. He's got CeeDee Lamb is on the rise. He's got 2 good tight ends in Komet and Jonnu Smith. Rashee Rice is looking pretty nice. And in this, he went from 6th place to 2nd place in my rankings this week because I like his team a little bit more this week, and he put up a lot more points than a lot of people this week. So, or everybody pretty much except me, but barely. Then we got best players, me, most points scored, some good moves. Um, then we got worst players, Doug. I mean, sub 90 performance. You got to give it to him. You got to give him worst player. I'm sure he's expected that. Who got that dog? I'm going to say I got that dog this week. Took Doug down in a must win. It wasn't a must win, but it was a big win. to keep me in the race. I really needed this win. I really thought I was going to lose. Came in, I slapped him. It was never, it was never in question really. Once the games got started, he didn't come to anything. He didn't come to bowling. Didn't come to the B League game. Didn't come to the A League game. Didn't come to summits. Yes, I know he worked, but I think he was scared to face me. I really think he was scared. And yeah, it was a big win for me. I got that dog. So here are the rankings. Sam stays number one. Connor, I moved after a bad week from 2 to 4. Greg from 3 to 5. Dylan 4 to 3. Dylan 4 to 3. Yeah. Doug goes again from 5 to 10. Hunter from 6 to 2. Big jump for Hunter. Will stays the same with just average win. I go up after a pretty good win from 8 to 6. Alec goes up a little bit after his win. Bobby down. Ash up. And then Logan stays the same. All right, next week's worst matchup is Doug versus Sam. Next week has some really good matchups, but so this one's not a bad matchup. It does have implications, but Sam and Doug doesn't really do anything for me. Not really a rivalry. Sam, whatever. Doug, whatever. I do predict that Sam will dominate though. And then best matchup, I kind of took this back. Um, Loser will probably be in last. So this, I actually wrote this on Monday when I assumed Will was gonna lose, which was obviously a mistake. Because if Will would have lost, then him and Logan would have kind of been in a match to decide last place, sort of. So that's whatever. I still think it is an interesting matchup, Logan and Will, personality wise. But probably not the best matchup. Let me look. Who else is playing each other next week? It's or this week, I guess. I mean, Alec and Greg. I mean, both 5 and 4. I mean, that's big. Um, I don't know. So whatever. We'll just scratch that. I think Alec and Greg might be a little better than that one. We're already to season segments. I'm flying through this thing. We got dabs here. All right. Will for meeting a girl on World of Warcraft in person. 5 dabs. I'm gonna not go into that. Will for not telling Greg when bowling was. This was last Friday. Greg told Will, "Hey, let me know when bowling is," and then all of a sudden, Greg is seeing Snapchats of Will going bowling because Will never told him what time bowling was. 3 dabs. That's just disrespectful. Will for an astounding lack of stamina. I think I really have to go into this, and I'm not the only one that's frustrated about this. Tyler was talking a lot about it. I think Greg was talking about it. Hunter kind of confirmed some of how I was feeling. But, Will comes in to our B League game that's first, and he's like runs around for a little bit and he's huffing and puffing. He's tired. He's like, dude, I can't play that much. I have to play the A League game. I'm like, dude, like you're like 115 pounds. You play soccer all the time. You're, one of the fastest guys. Like, you should have phenomenal stamina. I look at all these other people I watch play in the league. I mean, like, all these guys, and they play like 10 games and they're just like fine. Like, there's so many people like Riley's out there. Riley's played every minute of every single game for us, and he's willy nilly to play 3 more. I mean, I'm not saying I have good stamina. I don't. I have one of the worst amount, or I have terrible stamina. But like, I feel like it's a little more justified because I don't really run, and I'm also a little heavier these days. I just feel like I just feel like it's a little crazy that Will's stamina is so bad. Like out of everybody on the team in the A League game, he was the one that needed to come out as opposed to any of the other guys. I don't know. I just wanted to throw it out there. So I'm giving Dill or Will some dabs for astounding lack of stamina, 5 dabs, and again, I think it's kind of I think that I kind of think this topic is trending right now. Will's lack of stamina. Why? During the game, I looked at Will. I looked at one of the guys I know plays like 3 games on Sunday, and I'm like, how many games does he play? And Will's like, oh no, like 2 or 3. And I was like, yeah, he plays all game. Like you're just as good as that guy. Get the stamina up. Anyway, Will for suggesting going to Chaplin's, then backing out. Two dabs. Logan told me about that. That Will was suggesting chaplains and then backing out. I don't know. Will for going to good old days. Four dabs. You guys all knew this was coming, but a group of people went to good old days um, on Friday, and I'm absolutely disgusted about it. I don't really have the energy to really go into it, but and then when I kind of confronted them about, oh, well, why are you going to good old days? Like Will, for example, he said, well, I was talking to Dylan and we were like, we always go to Los Rios and it's like, it's either Los Rios or good old days. And I was like, why is it only in between Los Rios and good old days? Like, there's like a million different restaurants around. Like, pick one of those. Anyway, three dabs. Will for having a scowl on his face while playing soccer. Two dabs. I'm always like, Will, you doing okay? I think it's partially because he's tired that he has that, but he always kind of looks mad when he's playing soccer. I don't like it. Logan for leaving his shoes at the bowling alley. One dab. Logan for going to good old days. Four dabs. Logan for not understanding how weird it is to go to good old days. Five dabs. Everybody else that I talked to about the good old days thing was like, yeah, I know, but they have good food. I felt a little shamed, but we just wanted to try it, which is still bad. Like even if you went, but everybody else besides Logan kind of understood how bad it is to go to good old days and how kind of stigmatized it is. Except Logan. Logan was like, "What? Like who cares? Good old days is what? I don't know." But like, you get it. He didn't get it. Logan for having no shame about going to good old days. Five dabs again. Everybody else felt some shame. I talked to Dylan. He was like, "Yes, I do feel shame about it, but no big deal." Logan was the only one that was like, "I have no shame about going to good old days. Who cares?" So that's five dabs. Logan again for saying the only two options were to eat at good old days or Los Rios. Same conversation I had with Will. Well, we could only. I mean, we're always going to Los Rios, and so we had to go to Golden Days. I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. Three dabs. Logan for not understanding the pickle rules slash the kitchen rules in pickle. Five dabs. We played pickle the other day. Logan's like standing. Logan's had a lot of trouble with the rules of like letting it bounce in the kitchen. But he's played enough. He should get it by now. The other day we were playing. He was just standing in the kitchen volleying, and we're like, Logan, you can't stand in the kitchen. And he was like, what? Like this makes no sense. And I was like, it does. You just can't stand in there. Logan for raging about the pickle court. Three dabs. We went to a park in Roswell, and he had trouble finding it. And he was raging about how hard it was to find the park. Three dabs. Logan for criticizing me for watching football. Three dabs. I was watching, football, Red Zone, before our B League game, and he was like, "Why are you always watching football? Like, what the heck?" And I was like, "Because football's awesome, and I'm a sick fantasy player and a actual just legend in this league. So anyway, I got to give him dabs for that. Logan for taking forever to get to the foosball table. One dab. Bobby for calling Hunter to tell him he'd call him back. Four dabs. We're out bowling, and Bobby calls Hunter and is like, "Hey, can I call you back?" Or what he's Bobby for calling Hunter to tell him he'd. Oh, so yeah, Bobby calls Hunter and says, "Hey, I'm gonna call you back later," and then hangs up. And anyway, it was dabs. It's like, why wouldn't you? Why? It's just weird. Doug for not coming to bowling, one dab. Doug said he had a hurt hand and he'd be late, but gotta still give him dab. Doug for never coming or playing in the B League game, four dabs. Doug for being scared to play in the B League games, seven dabs. Doug never plays in the B League games. He always takes his shoes off, or if they're an early game, he doesn't come. Even when we could use him, like last week, and Hunter called him out. Hunter apparently was like, Doug, like, why aren't you coming to the B League game this morning? Are you scared to play in the B League game? And Doug didn't say anything, which would indicate that Doug is scared to play in the B League games for some reason. Doug for not coming to the A League game, one dab. Apparently he had to work, but I mean, come on, where are your priorities at? Connor for never coming to watch football or hang out, eight dabs. Honestly, this should have come out a little sooner. But yeah, Connor doesn't really hang out or watch football on Sunday, so that's dabs. Alec for criticizing Doug in the chat, three dabs. Alex should never criticize anybody. Dylan for having weird and complicated reasons not to hang out, three dabs, I believe. So Dylan, I'm not accusing Dylan of lying or anything like that. It's just like whenever you ask him, or a lot of times when you ask him to do something, he'll have some like weird reason. He'll be like, "Yeah, well, my uncle's grandfather is having a party, and I don't think I'm gonna go. But also, Chance's dad's mom, sister is in town, and they want me to go to a rock concert. But I don't know if I'm gonna do that. Also, I might have a date, but I'll let you know." It's like what, like every like even like it's just all the time. Like it's never just like, oh yeah, I can't go. Like I'm going to a movie with my mom. It's like, well, like I might be able to come, but like my dog's previous owner's friend invited me to go bowling, and like I might do that, but it's just like it's just always weird, like very intricate like plans that allow him to not come if he's not coming. Dylan for going to Good Old Days, 4 dabs. Dylan for suggesting to go to Good Old Days, 6 dabs. Dylan again for saying the only two options were to eat at Good Old Days or Los Rios, 3 dabs. Hunter for going to Good Old Days, 4 dabs. Hunter for not having a social security card, 5 dabs. Hunter for coming late to the B League game, 3 dabs. Hunter for saying he was about to leave when he clearly wasn't, 4 dabs. I called Hunter, so the game was at 1:30. I think I called Hunter at 1 to ask him a question, and like, hey, like, could you bring Doug's goalie gloves with you? And he was like, so anyway, I call him at 1, game's at 1:30. Hunter's like, oh yeah, I'm like right about to leave. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, could you bring Doug's goalie gloves? Oh yeah, sure, Cameron. Anyway, proceeds to show up like 20 minutes late, even though he said he was about to leave 30 minutes before the game. Anyway, he lied about leaving. It's fine. um, Greg for working all Saturday, so he said he couldn't pickle. I asked Greg, is like, hey, can you pickle today? He's like, oh no, I'm working. I'm like, what? Like you're driving for Uber, like you're gonna be driving all day, like you can't pickle like later at night or earlier in the morning or something, like you're working all day. Anyway, got to give him dabs for that. Alec for not coming to the game, 5 dabs. Alec for saying he's coming to the game, then not coming because he was on a flight, 8 dabs. Will told me that Alec said he was coming, and then when Will texted him, like right before the game, hey, where are you? Alec then said, oh, I'm not coming. I'm on a flight to Chicago. And Will was just like, what? 8 dabs. And then Alec for donating $100 to UFA every year because he never plays. 12 dabs. Okay, so the next one is the dabs for me. Honestly, a little disappointed. It was clear that nobody sent Logan dabs for me, so I am allowing 10 dabs or 10 dab, scenarios to be written about me a week, and Logan only had 6, and they weren't that strong. So if you want to give me dabs, you got to tell Logan. Um, okay, so this is it. Um, so Cameron for saying scram instead of scran. Apparently, it's a scran bag instead of a scram bag. 5 dabs. It's like, okay, like I'll take that, I guess. I thought it was scram. I mean, they're super similar, and I think scram bag sounds better, but whatever. Taking multiple years to correct season segment spelling. So I had segments or something. I misspelled segment, and I didn't realize it until someone said it, a couple weeks ago. So 10 dabs. And these are dabs given by Logan, not me. I think that 10 dabs is kind of ridiculous for that. Blocking the mic on the previous video, 5 dabs. I think that was should be more dabs. That was tough. Never clicking hide on the Vimeo screen recording thing. I'm assuming he's talking about this, but I don't want to hide that because it, makes like what he doesn't know is sometimes this thing stops recording and I don't know it and I keep talking. So I need to know. I need to see that to know. Um, well, I shouldn't sit up because that's how I blocked the mic before. Freaking out about going to Good Old Days, 3 dabs. I don't know why he felt very strongly about Good Old Days. I don't know why he would only give me 3 dabs for that, but okay. Pretending to listen to Logan when I wasn't, 5 dabs. Basically, Logan wanted me to confirm Bobby's phone number. So he's like, "Hey, can you look up Bobby's phone number on your phone and tell me if it's right?" And I was like, "Sure," but I was in the middle watching Red Zone. I'm not gonna stop watching that. And so he's like, okay, 678. And I was like, yep, 524. Yep. Whatever his number was. I pretended to confirm the number on my own phone when in reality I was watching Red Zone. And I have no regrets about that. So whatever. Most annoying, Logan, for the reasons I had typed out on the dabs. Here we go with this. Logan's 4 weeks. Logan's had the most, or yeah, had the most dabs. It's pretty wild. Um, Random rankings not as strong this week, but we'll go through it. We got me doing. I'm gonna give you a little stamina ranking just to hit home here. Like this is like Will after running for like probably 60 seconds, just defeated. Um, I think Ashton probably has really good stamina. I think Bobby might even have better than Ashton stamina. Hunter, Hunter doesn't have great stamina. He hits the vape a lot, but I watch him. He doesn't really come out, and he runs a lot at soccer, so I'm giving him some props. Greg, I think he's got some low key good stamina. Hockey, he pickles. He runs pretty good in soccer. Um, Dylan, whenever I see him out there, he doesn't seem to be huffing and puffing too bad. Then I got Will at 6. It's like Will should have way better stamina than anybody in the league. Logan 7. Logan has pretty crappy stamina. I think probably Doug might have better stamina, but Doug seems to not be able to play like 2 game or like 10 minutes on our B League game. So who knows? Connor, I have terrible stamina. Totally willing to admit that. Alec, I'm assuming has terrible stamina because he doesn't seem to run ever. And then Sam, yeah. Cooper golf ratings. Cooper, he's right here. That's a picture of him. I used to work with him, semi-pro golfer. Apparently, he was right on the edge of making the PGA Tour. Very good golfer. And I had him look at these pictures and say, hey, who looks like the best golfer? I thought Connor would be number one because I think Connor looks like a golfer. But he thinks Logan here looks like a good golfer. I guess that makes sense. Bobby, I don't know why he would think Bobby would look like a good golfer based on that. Dylan, I disagree. Most golfers don't look that big. Alec, I could see that. Alec looks like a good golfer there. Greg, Will, Ash, Connor, again, I thought Connor would be good to go. Doug, Hunter, Sam, and me. I think he put me as 11 just to be rude. We got Logan with some questionable stuff here. Logan most likely to get catfished by a pedophile. Not 100% sure what that means. I guess I do. But he thinks Will. I don't really have any explanations for these, so I just kind of read them off. But Alec, obviously Alec's super thirsty. Hunter, Bobby, Connor, Dylan, Ash, Logan, Cameron. It's weird to me that he thinks he would get catfish before me, but all right. Greg, Doug, and Sam, because Sam's asexual, he put that in his thing. So there we go. Most likely catfish, and then most likely to pick up an older lady. At good old days, Cameron. That's obviously incorrect. So I'm assuming he just did that to try to roast me. Dylan is by far the number one in that, and Logan is by far the number two. I actually really agree with these, except for me at one. Bobby, easy number three. Hunter, Doug. I'd say dead on. I could see Hunter doing it. I could see Doug doing it. Alec for sure. Then Connor, Greg, Ash, Will, Sam. No. Then last we got Caitlin doing some serial killer rankings, who she thinks is most likely to be a serial killer. I kind of helped her out with number one because I just feel like Sam is just a serial killer. If he's real, he could seriously be a serial killer. Bobby, Ashton. I don't know why she picked Bobby. I wish she. I think she. I don't know. Bobby, Ashton. I agree there. Logan for sure. Hunter, Dylan. There was some talk if Hunter could overpower enough people to serial kill, but I think he could. Dylan, Doug, me. So that's weird that I'm 8. Greg, Connor. I think she thought like Greg, Connor, Will, and Alec were kind of too aloof to do it. They kind of don't care enough to do it. But yeah, so pretty good. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to hang out Friday night. I don't have anything to do on Friday, so keep your calendars open. Have a good one.